For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jalen Simmons, owner of JMixtape Productions. I've been blessed with the opportunity to help so many amazing people gain exposure and have traveled to so many places along the way. I want to continue that by allowing athletes, coaches, and others that I've crossed paths with to share their personal journey. That is why I present to you In the Making. Welcome to In the Making. You're here with Jalen Simmons. We got a special guest today, Austin Apsley, AAA, baby genius, one of the coldest on the beats. Came down from Louisville, Kentucky, and we're here, man, live in action. Finally get to link up again after a couple years, and about to just discuss, his progression, just life in general, just give you guys some advice, some gems that we could drop for you that hopefully help you in your life.
Absolutely. And bro, it's been 9 years since we hung out?
Man, good 9 years, man. Just keeping in touch though. I know life gets busy, so we're here, man.
Yeah.
So we went to Breed College together. He was roommates with one of my basketball teammates, yep. Corey Wise. Corey Wise would come up to me, talk to me about this guy's just in the room making beats all day.
Every day.
And I was like, shoot, I rap a little here and there. So I was like, let me go see what he's doing. And he had the whole setup,
yep.
The KRK.
Yep.
Yeah, full studio in the dorm room.
That was the best, man.
Yeah, those good times.
A lot of crazy times.
Yeah,
with the.
I know.
I didn't even have a mic stand at that time. You had to hold the mic to record.
I remember.
Yeah.
I had to hold the mic. We ended up even performing at Jazzy Nights.
Yep.
So we had some good moments, man.
There's a lot to dig into with that one because that was like a whole process for an album. My first album I ever put out. Mm-hmm. I guess quote unquote put out. But that was something I always wanted to do was make a project. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah.
It takes time.
What are you looking at like going into a beat? Are you starting off with the drums? Are you starting off with like a saxophone or something? You got a sample that you have? How do you... It's
honestly just a vibe. I just sometimes it's the craziest thing in the world. Like I'll wake up in the morning and I have a sound in my head. And it's like, dang, okay, I think I want to go put that down. So I might just go lay down a melody and just leave it. Maybe the first thing in the morning before I do work, before I even drink my coffee or whatever, put down the melody, leave it. I'll come back to it that night and I'll put some drums on it. But then if I do because I do Music Monday every Monday now, right?
That's dope.
If I do Music Monday, sometimes I'm in there and I'll just lay down a drum pattern. And again, I'll just leave it and move on to something else. Other times, lay down a drum pattern and then add a melody to it and just fiddle with it, and something comes out of it.
So is that daily? You have like a set time every Monday, or is it just...
Oh, yeah. So that's like my goal for this year, especially, to try to make Mondays the best day of the week. Because oftentimes you get done with the weekend, you're like, damn, man, start all over with the week. And I'm like, no, I want it to be like, I'm super excited for the week to start. Mm-hmm. So I always try to do the most that I can at work. That way I can come home, hang my hat, be like, wow, I had a great day. I can actually feel good about doing whatever I want to do tonight. Mm-hmm. I'll get a bottle of wine. I'll make myself a good meal. And I'll just start making beats, 7, 8 o'clock at night until sometimes 1, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got work the next day? Or how?
Oh, yeah, always.
What time you have to get up after that?
8:30. It's not a big deal. I mean, I work from home, so it's not like I got to commute or anything.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's so it made Mondays phenomenal.
It did. So, man, tell the people just like a little bit about more. I mean, you don't have a lot of released
Oh,
stuff.
no.
Just kind of talk to them and just discuss like your game plan and your thoughts that you want to do these next couple of years to, elevate, get into that level that you want to get to, whatever that is, whether it's marketing or just still on your beats.
So I've been spending the last 6 months just trying to rebrand. College was like, you know, do whatever I can do with music and do the best that I can with what I had because I didn't have a lot of resources, But now that I've got a career established, I'm building my studio up every year. I'm adding stuff to it. It's really starting to become something. So my plan, hopefully, plans change, but
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to roll out some beat tapes. I don't really know how I want to do it with marketing though. I do have my brand solidified now, but it's on the hush hush. I really struggle with releasing my stuff, so I have to make sure that it's absolutely what I want it to be before I show the world. Because the world, it's like a first impression thing. You only get one first impression.
Yeah.
And that's like super anxiety for me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to have to bite the bullet at some point and just start rolling it out. But as of late, I've just been stacking beats.
Yeah. How many years have you been making beats?
Since 2011, 2012. I think it was 2012.
So that was the college, and you started.
It was in high school.
High school. Okay.
I actually, my buddy Kevin in high school, he torrented FL Studio for me. So I had this hacked version of FL Studio, and he put it on a flash drive, and I put it on my laptop, and that's how I started. I just started looking for like drum packs and fiddling with like different melodies because I didn't really know anything about making music at the time. I was just diving into it. Then ended up getting it on my iPad, making the most whack stuff you could possibly make, thinking that it was dope. And and then college it really started picking up. My freshman year I didn't really mess with music that much. You know how Berea is.
Yeah,
freshman year is rough.
You gotta be ready. Yeah, it's a lot. We got a labor program. A lot of people don't know. We got to do 10 hours?
You had to do 150 hours a semester.
150 hours a semester. Does that equate to about 10 hours a week?
Yeah, and on top of that, with like the rigorous academics and playing sports, you played basketball. I played golf, and so putting music in there was tough. Sophomore year, I really got into it though. That's when I met D.
Get situated, yep.
D-Shack. Shout out D-Shack.
Shout out to D-Shack.
That's such a crazy story. We met in a communications class, public speaking. I had to do like a 30-second presentation about something that I love to do, like a pastime or whatever. So I was like, I love to make music. At that point, I've been doing it for like a year and a half. Not great, but I've been doing it. And I had enough. I think I had like 20 beats made, ready for recording or whatever. And D came up to me after that class, after the presentation, was like, "You for real make beats?" I was like, "Yeah."
I can see him too. Like, was asking, like, do you really make beats?
Yeah, for real. I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Where do you live?" I was like, "Danforth." Turns out we lived in the same suite.
Oh wow!
Right down the hall from each other.
Great collab.
Yeah, and
he's from Detroit. Y'all from the same place?
No, he's from West Feet.
Okay.
He lives in Huntington.
Okay.
I don't think he lives there anymore, but he's still in West Feet. But I went to his room with a USB drive, and I just gave him the stick. He came back to my room in 30 minutes. It was like, I already got a hook to the song. Let's make it. I was like, oh my, what beat?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Which beat did you check? Yeah.
How
many beats was on there?
I don't know. I think I put like 4 or 5 on there.
Okay.
And he ended up making our first song that we made together, "Shock the World."
Did you show me? I think you did show me.
It's the first one on my SoundCloud. That's like at the very, very bottom. That was so long. I think that was 2013, fall 2013.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It was awesome, man. And so like the progression has just been. I'm not trying to take this too seriously, but it's a hobby. I love to do it. But the more and more that I get into it later in life, I'm like, I'm trying to monetize this. I'm trying to make some money off this. I'm trying to cement myself in an industry that's so saturated.
Yeah,
it's so hard to do.
Yeah, explain a little bit about that. I know they got people always put their beats on SoundCloud, YouTube, there's a couple of other areas, iTunes sometimes. Yeah. How do you really market? And there's another one too, I forgot, but there's a couple of them. But how do you know where to put it at? Like, how do you know?
I'm still figuring that out myself. I think SoundCloud is whack. Like, I did the whole SoundCloud thing, and it's just, to me, it's got such a bad image to it, like SoundCloud rappers. First thing you think of when you think of a SoundCloud rapper is like, he's whack.
Yeah, he's not serious about it
Right.
because he doesn't have his stuff out on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a legit platform, but it doesn't lend to credibility in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people they can blow up on SoundCloud,
Mm-hmm.
but now you've got stuff like TikTok and like Instagram Live and all that stuff or the stories. I mean, I don't have social media like that, but that's where it is. That's marketing now. Like, I could put my beats on BeatStars, which is like a beat platform.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah. Or like United Music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. Like they help you with websites. Like you can create your own website and you're basically running your own music company at that point, selling your own music. And they help fuel the marketing for it. You got to pay for it. But, I mean, that's an idea. I don't know. I haven't really come up with a full-fledged plan. Right now, I'm just stacking the content.
Yeah. How many songs, if you had to guess, do you have in the vault right now?
Like ready?
Yeah.
Or just like drafts and all?
Drafts and all.
Thousands. Thousands.
Oh man, off the bat.
Yeah.
Over that.
I got a 1 terabyte hard drive.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There are thousands. I don't know, but that's like over the years, man. Like I did I don't know, it was a few weeks ago. I went back to some of the first stuff I ever made, and I'm like, it's cringy, but it's a sense of appreciation too for how far I've come. And it's just like anything, like you with basketball. It's you start off, you can't even hit a three, but you do it every day, and you're 51% from the field for the season. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep it going. I'm hoping the progression escalates exponentially. It's just getting there.
Yeah, just staying down.
Yeah.
Being able to stay. That's one of the toughest things. Talk about just talk about being able to stay consistent, man. A lot of people have passions. A lot of people have things going, but work takes over.
Yeah.
Maybe they have married life, kids, whatever that is. Kind of discuss like what keeps you okay. Every day or every Monday, I'm gonna drop a beat, or every moment I get in the dorm room, I'm gonna drop something. Like what gets you what drives you on that?
It's a feeling of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, all right, you listen to an album for the first time and you just hear a banger on there. Never heard the song before, but it's incredible. And you're going to be vibing to it for however long, months, years.
Yeah.
I get that feeling when I make a beat and it's just like, I never expected it to turn out how it turned out. It's the greatest feeling in the whole world. There's no other feeling like it in my opinion. And I'm playing it on loop, just vibing in my studio or whatever. Or if like I'm in the shower, I put it on the JBL. And it's like that feeling, it's like I made that. And guess what? I can do that again tomorrow and it'll be something completely different. And I'm still going to love it. So it's just chasing that every time. And it's very therapeutic too. I can go in there and lay down the stupidest drum pattern. And it's just an idea. Maybe experimenting with a kick or, doing something crazy with the hi-hats, adding crazy reverb or whatever. And it's like an outlet. It's like journaling through music. It's the best.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me motivated. Like, it's an escape from everything.
Yeah. Just in your zone.
Yeah.
Doing what you love.
Every day.
All right. Now, discuss the nicknames. Like, where did you get AAA from?
All right.
I know you transitioned now as Baby Genius, right?
Yep.
Now, discuss a little bit about, how you getting your names and, how'd you get to this point to you're now Baby Genius?
So AAA, I mean, all my initials are A's. So
Was that Austin?
Austin Alexander Apsley.
Okay.
Yep. I've been called AAA my whole life by everybody. When I was a kid, though, my stepbrother played hockey all over the place. I think he used to do travel hockey. I can't remember, but he was in the city league too. And
your brother?
this is my stepbrother growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was his name?
His name's Braden.
Okay, Braden.
Yeah, he's cool. But on his team, like I used to travel with him or go to practice or whatever, and there were players on his team. And I was always a smart little kid. Like I was the smallest one, but I was smart as hell. And so they called me Baby Genius. Like all the hockey players called me Baby Genius.
Man.
I bring my homework to his practices.
How much older were they? Did you?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. So that always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like in college, people make so many nicknames out of my last name. It's crazy. A lot of people can't pronounce it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy I met in college, his name's Christian. I did a couple songs with him. Out of my last name, he used to call me Ape. So then, like, that stuck too. Everyone that I did music with would call me Ape. And so, yeah, like, I've had so many nicknames throughout my life, but transitioning from AAA to Baby Genius, it just feels, yeah.
So you already had Baby Genius in the back of your mind.
My whole life.
But people are already calling you AAA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a very niche group of people who called me Baby Genius, but that always stuck with me in the back of my head. I'm like, that's so fitting. What a great nickname. So, and then I just branded it.
Just now, how are you able to get that keen sense of music? Like, what are you listening to? Are you listening to the bass first? Are you listening to like the saxophone or like some guitar or like going into a beat or stylistic? Like, what are you looking for?
I don't look for anything. That's the best part is like I'm completely open to whatever may enter my mind. But like when I listen to music, I'm not actually like most people who listen to music, they listen to the words, which makes sense because it's the artist. First brush through, like Metro Boomin's album came out last year. Amazing. I listened to all the beats. I didn't even listen to the music, like the vocals or anything.
He did. He made an instrumental.
Yeah, he attached it to the album.
Wow.
I loved it. That's what I went straight for. That was my first listen to the album. And I like to just not necessarily critique, but just see what different producers are doing, their production styles, maybe different production takes that they take. Like, I'll analyze the hell out of a kick drum. It's like, what did they do? Did they overly compress it? Did they add distortion to it? Is there like some overdrive on it? Or why did they keep it so low in the mix? Like, what does that do for the vocals when they come in? And it's like, I can't ever normally listen to a song. Like, just a radio song comes on, I hate it. I don't listen to the radio anymore. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, they play the same 10 songs.
But no, I was actually having a conversation with my cousin a few months ago, and I get super frustrated. I listen to songs and the beat is so simple, and it's like a #1 hit. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my, I could do that. How come I haven't done that? And, like he and I actually got into a really deep discussion about that. It was like, well, if you could do that, then you would have already. And I'm like, that's so true.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
A lot of people have great ideas, but no one brings them to existence.
Exactly.
You gotta, you know what I mean? There's so many people, there's so many times where I've heard like people be like, oh man, I thought of that, or I had this, but it's like, if you don't create it, then.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he opened my mind too he was like, when I listen to a song, he's listening to it completely different. And so he was kind of frustrated with me at the time because I'm listening to it and he's like, man, I love that line. I'm like, I didn't even hear it. What did they say? Right. Yeah. And he's like, what do you like? But it's just how my mind goes because that's how I get ideas. I try to adapt them into my own style or whatever. That's the hardest thing about making music too, is like you got people like Just Blaze, one of my favorite producers ever. The drums for Just Blaze are insane. He uses like live drum sounds and he samples them and cuts them up, like chops them up, and they sound so good. They're incredible. One example is like if you were to listen to The Lord Knows by Drake. That's one
of my favorite beats.
Unbelievable.
One of my favorite beat songs. That Take Care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then on Wale's album, what's it called? Gifted. 88. That's a Just Blaze. And they're live drums. And the best part about it is, say like Wale's performing that in concert. They're going to have live drums on stage. It sounds just like Just Blaze.
Wow.
So it's like, I love that about a producer who captures such a specific area of music and makes it their own. And then now they're known for that.
Wow, that's dope.
It's
like a signature sound that they all have.
Yep. And that's what makes them great.
Yeah.
Like no one else, you can replicate it, but you can't be that person.
Yeah. It's not original.
No.
Do you have anything specific in your sound that you feel like is, common? in all your songs? Or
There's a commonality for sure. I have an organizational structure that I tend to stick to when I'm trying to orchestrate how I want the intro to be, what I want the bridge to be. Um, I'm trying to switch up outros, but I'm still looking for it. It's a tough thing to curate, man. Like
you gotta have that knack of like, okay, this is it.
it's
And some people haven't found it yet, even in rap or whatever.
yeah.
You know, people are always like you even told me, like people are always looking for that sound. Like,
Yep.
yeah, you gotta, yeah. Once you hit that pocket, you can just go. Like the baby is like one of the best, I think, at like just having his own pocket. Like he's always every beat, every song I went. It's pretty similar, but
Yep.
like it'll have his mix, but he always has that.
It's the same.
that
Yeah, he's got his lane.
Yeah, he got his own lane.
But see, the thing with the baby in my mind is like he sticks to the same type of beat of the punchy sub. That punchy sub 808s come in, and he can carry a beat like that.
Yeah.
So he knows. I don't want to put myself in a corner like that as an artist. Like, for instance, DJ Mustard. You hear a DJ Mustard song, you know it's him. You don't even need to hear the tag. It's because he's curated his own style to the point where it's so recognizable. You'd be crazy not to know unless you just never heard him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing even if you want to go outside of hip hop like Metallica. Metallica has such a signature sound as a heavy metal band. Like, you know, a guitar comes on if it's Metallica. Red Hot Chili Peppers, same thing. It's like, I don't know. I want to get in that lane where people are playing my music and they're like, oh yeah, that's a Baby Genius beat. That's just so hard to do.
Yeah. Man. And people gotta have, I guess you gotta listen to it enough times to be like, okay,
yeah,
this is him.
Yeah. And that's the same, like, okay, why I'm trying to stack my stuff is before I even start rolling it out, I want to be able to create a similar energy in every song to where it's like, oh yeah, I know this beat, like I know this producer, it makes sense. The hardest thing for me though in releasing stuff is how many people do you know that play music or listen to music can relate to an instrumental?
Yes. Yeah, it's tough.
How many people are just chilling there listening to instrumentals?
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're absolutely not. So I'm trying to cater to a very, very small audience of artists who are just like, okay, I'm trying to find some beats. Then again, any artist can go on YouTube and get a whatever type beat and pull it up, and then that's it.
Always do those, like the Young Thug and Gunna type beats.
Yeah.
Little Baby type beats. And I don't know if that's like a good, because they do get a lot of clicks.
They do.
But I'm trying to figure
It's
out,
clickbait.
like, yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. Because everybody, honestly, you can go through, of course you have similarities in that beat, but overall it's like, okay, I can see Future on here.
Exactly.
And then just drop it. So.
Future type beat. And it's like, no, I want it to be like, oh, this is a Baby Genius type beat. I'm not an anything type beat. Like, I'm not going to...
It takes away from the actual beat maker.
Yeah, it's...
In a sense.
There's no originality.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't ever want to put myself in a box like that. So, I don't do it. I get why people do. Because it definitely boosts views. It gets their numbers up. It shows their creativity. But in my opinion, they're just making the same thing that everyone else makes. That's why it's a tight beat. You know, stick whatever name you want on the beat and just post it, and then let other people figure out what type of beat it is.
Yeah.
You don't tell them; let them figure it out, because it's gonna be different for so many people.
Yeah.
I love that.
Always, and there's so many beats that you could think of so many artists that can go on that beat.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't bother yourself into one. I see you want to get the clicks and all that, but man, music is universal.
It's so universal. I mean, think about the mixtape era, the dedication series. Lil Wayne has shown everyone you can't put him in any box. He's gonna destroy whatever. He's made cover songs better than the original so many times in the dedication mixtape series.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, it's like, imagine if that artist was like, oh no, this is a Rick Ross type beat. Lil Wayne can't rap on this. This is for Rick Ross. You never get that song from Lil Wayne.
Never even think about
right.
Or any person, any artist who has similarity traits to another rapper. and they're going through like, oh yeah, I flow kind of like Gunna.
Yeah.
They're looking up Gunna beats, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can find them forever.
Yeah.
You can scroll through 100 pages of Gunna type beats. But I mean, what do you want to be Gunna, or do you want to be your own artist?
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to be my own artist.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Ninth Wonder, even though that'd be dope.
Yeah.
You know? I want to be Baby Genius. So yeah, I'm just I'm gonna constantly try to curate my own sound. That's the hardest thing too about producing music is like you have the beat side of it where you're actually making the music, and then you've got the production style as well. It's endless. It's so vast that it can become overwhelming. You can go down any road, any direction with a song. You kind of just got to pick one and go with it. And when it comes to like production, I like to intentionally make stuff sound weird. So in the intros of my songs, we were talking about this earlier in the car. I like for an art or anyone who listens to my beats to be like, "What the hell is this?" When they first hear it, like it's weird. Like it sounds like it'd be the intro to a pop song or something, or it could be like bongos or whatever, and then transition after 8 bars into something that's just like banging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I love those slow transitions, climax up.
Yeah,
yeah
whiplash.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, like I did not even expect that transition to happen there.
Those are the best.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm still trying to fine tune that.
Talk about let's transition and talk about into just like the music you were listening to growing up. You said you're from Detroit.
Yep.
You know, kind of tell them like where in Detroit and you know how you grew up music wise.
Okay, yeah. I grew up in like the Metro Detroit area in a place called Dearborn Heights. I was like 7 minutes from Detroit city limits, somewhere around there. And my mom always told me growing up that she knew I loved music because when I was a baby, I'd be crying my ass off, and the Cops theme song would come on. No, bad boys, and I would just stop and just look at the TV like, oh. So
watching Cops at 4?
at like 2. I love that show for some reason. I love the theme song.
That was a great show.
But no, yeah, I had a lot of musical influences growing up. My dad played a lot of rock, a lot of 80s, 90s. But then like the country grammar days, like 2000, Nelly comes out with country grammar.
Oh yeah.
That was the same time that you had like the Now Hits CDs, you know, like the mix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had like that first one. My dad got me that first one.
Oh yeah.
And so you have like a cornucopia of just different hits from the 2000s. Whatever.
Those are great.
Those are the best.
Yeah. The hit CDs, top hits.
For sure.
Man, volume 1, volume 2,
Yep.
all of them.
But then like I had, I was really into like grunge rock, like Nirvana and Godsmack and Metallica. And I mean, me and my stepbrother used to play street hockey, and we'd have the radio cranked on the Detroit rock station. But on the inverse, on the flip side, my cousin was the one who really put me on to hip hop, like very early on. He was really big into Jay-Z. So Jay-Z drops the Blueprint, and then Blueprint Volume 2, and the Black Album.
Love the Black Album.
Oh my God.
It's one of my favorites.
And Eminem in that era, of course, and 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And so I would go over his house all the time on the weekends. We loved hanging out together as kids. He's more of a brother to me than anything. And he put me on to so many different artists. He still does to this day, man. It's so crazy. But yeah, like all of my music influences is from all over the place. Like you never know what you're gonna catch me listening to.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about just collabing with other artists, and you know whether that's on the producing side, the artist side, rapping, R&B artists, whatever that is. Just kind of discuss like your flow and you know how you work with others.
So my experience generally working with artists is they want me to tell them what kind of vibe I'm getting when I'm making the beat, or like where my head was when I was making the beat. A lot of times, like when I work with D-Shack, I'll name the beat something, that just I'll name it something that captivates it. Like the one we listened to earlier was Cosmic. It was like that smooth Afro beat. It's cosmic to me because it's just like it's very spacey. It's airy. There's a lot of reverb. But he'll take that word cosmic and he'll make the song around that word, just the name of the beat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so when we were in studio together a lot, um, I started to understand his process. A lot of times, like he'll write a hook for a song, and he might get stuck on a verse. Go to the next one. Like we won't stay stuck for very long when we're working together. We might have like 6 drafts of incomplete songs done by the end of the night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just because we're hopping.
Is it just doing like a hook here, a verse here on each beat, on each?
Yeah.
Okay.
But once he gets like zoned in, he'll finish the song in like 30 minutes. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
It's like he can lock in and just.
So when you're in the booth or when you're in the studio with another artist, are you observing just how they work?
Very observant.
Yeah, very observant.
Yeah. I always tell artists before I start working with them, like, listen, I hope you're open to like constructive criticism. I hope you have an open mind of like, if I have an idea, you're not going to get offended or hurt the fact that I'm like, I don't think that sounds good with what you're going for. Can we try something else? And it's doing that up front has been very successful for me because we can get on the same page really fast. Like I'm all about artistic freedom. Do your thing, man. A lot of times they're doing something that I can't see, like we were talking about earlier with visions. Like I can't see their vision. So I have to rein myself back to be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Just let them do their thing and let's see what comes out of it. And if at the end of it, it still doesn't, it's not cohesive with what we're working with, then I'll say something. Be like, hey, maybe we should tweak this, or maybe you should use this word instead and it'd fit better in the flow. And yeah, I've never met an artist that didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
And then, so are you presenting beats to them like, hey, I like your flow, I think this beat will work, or are you just going off whatever they're trying to go off of?
A lot of times, especially if I've never met an artist before, they'll just come in and I'll just scroll through the Rolodex, man. Like, I play so many different vibes for an artist to come in, and once they pick one, I kind of get an idea of what they're looking for. I mean, just like we were listening to earlier, I've got so many different sounds. We went from like this poppy R&B all the way to a trap beat that was nasty. It's like, so let's just traverse it.
Staying versatile.
Yeah. It's generally how it works. I have had one person come in and be like, just play trap beats. Just play all the trap beats you got. It's like, okay, I can do that. Yeah.
Some people already know their pocket or know their flow, so it's just like,
it's cool.
Yeah, whatever you got in the arsenal, just keep it going. Yeah, and just if you can just like give the people, well, actually, yeah, you say you didn't have social media, so talk a little bit about that, on just like where you're at with the media, just marketing yourself, and just discuss a little bit about the things that you're doing to organically get your following and get bring that talent in.
I hate social media so much. I don't have it. I think I stopped using social media back in 2018. It's just not good for my mental health. But I understand the business side of it too, of like, you need a platform to boost yourself because everybody's on social media.
I know you talked about with similar artists and kind of going off their vibe also. Just talk about the complexity of like, hey, just add it in. Okay, I just want to add this little guitar in here. I think this will sound good. Or punch in this word right here. Kind of get like, how were you able to do that aspect without rapping?
It's really just going off of the artist's energy. I hear stuff just like the artists hear stuff, but we're going to hear something that's completely different. So it's all about just an open space, being able to rebound off of each other. And that to me is really how you come up with the best product. I mean, if you look at song credits for all your favorite songs, at least in hip hop, I know, a lot of times the producer is going to have song credits for writing. They all, like, whether it's like writing actual words or organizing like the bridge over the hook, like what DJ Khaled does. Like DJ Khaled bring all the artists together,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll just organize all the songs. He'll produce. He's not making the beats. He'll bring in Metro Boomin or Tay Keith for some beats.
Okay. He's
Yeah.
just bringing in everybody collectively.
Yeah,
Is that still producing, or what is
that's
that?
producing.
That's still.
He's not a beat maker per se, but he's definitely a producer. He's really good at it.
Yeah, just bringing collabs together and making
Yeah.
sure they work and mesh together.
And I mean, he's doing the overall production too with his engineer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, people always say like, "What does DJ Khaled do except for yell on the mic?"
And another one.
Another, yeah. So, how many "We the Best" do we need from DJ Khaled on every album? But he really is putting in a lot of work. It's they don't know the behind the scenes. It's a lot.
Yeah, man.
That's a
So
lot.
there are different aspects of beat making or making music.
I mean,
Um,
beat making and production are two separate things.
Okay.
Yeah. You get into production, you're dealing with EQing, compression, leveling, side chains, parallel compression. Like, it's so much. And, I mean, we can get into the nitty gritty of that, and that's a 4-hour-long podcast for sure. I mean, it bore people to death, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Man. Anything coming up to where you're marketing or
Right.
yeah, just discuss a little bit about that.
I'm not a huge social media fan. I've been off social media for a few years now. It wasn't ever really for me. It didn't serve any sort of useful tool. And as far as entertainment, like, it really wasn't even that entertaining for me. I was struggling with like a comparison game. For instance, like on Instagram, seeing all these people doing this dope stuff, and they're younger than I am, and I'm thinking like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And then one day, I find out like the people that I'm comparing myself to. Number one, that's terrible practice. You can't compare yourself to anybody. You shouldn't, because there's no comparison. Everyone's different.
Right.
Everyone's got their own journey. Clip that. And then I don't know, man. I saw one day that this guy was leading the like a fake life. All the stuff that he was posting on Instagram, it wasn't even real. Like, he was on yachts. They weren't even remotely associated with him. He was just renting them out for clout.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so then I realized, like, oh, I'm actually hurting myself more. I need to get rid of this. But then on the business side, like, my cousin was telling me the other day, he's like, the best way for you to promote your music's on TikTok. It's like, people are getting discovered like crazy right now
all
on
the
TikTok.
TikTok challenges with
Yeah,
the songs.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And, you know, if one of my beats were to be played on a viral TikTok, that's it. That's money. I can't stand TikTok. I'll never have TikTok.
Yeah.
I would have a TikTok if someone else ran it, but I'm never going to use it.
Right.
I've considered doing Instagram, because like I could do Instagram lives for when I'm doing like making beats, and I feel like that would be super dope, just to engage with people so they can see the behind the scenes process if they're interested. And I'd like to make that a part of like Music Monday, because I'm going to be doing it anyway. Why not stream it live?
Yeah, for sure.
I thought about Twitch as well, but Twitch is really saturated.
More of the gaming side, isn't it?
There's actually a huge music side to Twitch now. It is gaming, like there's a lot of gaming stuff on there, but I'm talking like I actually know a lot about Twitch. I've never been on there.
Yeah.
But this is just all secondhand from what other people have told me.
Yeah.
But I do understand the need for a social media presence when you're trying to sell a product, especially a product like this where the only engagement you'll get with artists generally is through social media.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that I need help with it, because I'm not very privy to social media marketing tools. That whole game is above me. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and then just two final questions. Just the first one is just name like a couple, like maybe top 5 of your favorite producers, beat makers, whatever you have. Just who are your top 5 right now?
Top 5, I would say Just Blaze, Ninth Wonder, Jake One, Metro Boomin,
Oh yeah.
and Boy Wonder. Yeah,
Nice.
I'd say those are my top 5.
Nice.
They're all so unique.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to DJ Mustard.
Yeah.
He's hard.
Mandatory for sure.
Insane.
There's so many artists out there, man. It's just so many sounds, so many collabs, and like so many vibes. Like you can't go wrong in that aspect, man.
Man, that's like the hardest thing to ask me is like, hey, who are your top 5 favorite artists. It's like, bro, don't ask me that.
Yeah, it's
That's
too
not even
many.
fair. I can't do that.
It's too many.
You mean like right now? Because tomorrow it's going to be different.
Exactly. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Musically? That's a tough one. It's a good question, but it's hard to answer because I don't know what's going to happen a week from now. I'd like to build up my studio a lot more. I'd like to work with a wider range of artists. I'd like to put out an actual project. Me and D-Shack have been working on a project for like a year and a half, 2 years now. And I would really like to get that finished. One day we will. I put D-Shack through a lot because I'm very anal about putting stuff out. Like it's gotta be it. You only get one first impression. And I always want it to be the best. Like he and I have 10 or 12 songs already made that no one's heard. So I would like to get that released. I'd like to do a compilation album, kind of like my first album that I did.
Oh, solid.
Yeah, Uncontested, solid album. I won't be on this next one. Not doing
You don't
that.
want to spit anymore?
No,
Oh,
that's over with. I only did that because the verse needed to be filled.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then I like to branch out musically, so solidifying my sound, number one, and number two, going into things that I'm uncomfortable with.
Taking leaps of faith.
Yeah, and just
taking risks.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's the only way you grow.
Facts.
So,
and then final question: what do you want the people to know, like through your journey, like in the making of your journey? Like, what do you want people to know, or what do you want, a lesson or a gem that you have that you want people to hold on to as they continue their journey?
I feel like this is going to be really cliche, but I think about this all the time. Just one sentence. I think it's one sentence. Consistency is key and complacency is a killer. If you can stay consistent, you can't fail. Failing is stopping. You might not achieve whatever you wanted to achieve at that point in time, but you keep going, you haven't failed anything. If anything, you've learned something. That's the best part about consistency. Complacency is to say, well, yeah, this is good enough for me. Like, I'm cool in this lane. You're never willing to switch lanes. Well, you're never going to grow. You're never going to improve. New opportunities are dead to you at that point. And everyone else who's around you, who you're, so to speak, competing with, are going to pass you, bar none. So, consistency is everything. Complacency is a killer.
Yeah, that's great. And that's it, man. JMixtape in the making. Austin Apsley, Baby Genius. Looking forward to what he has and what he's in the making of, man, because he has some amazing beats, and I can see the vision, I see the progression, and let's just keep growing, man. And great to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can't find me anything, but like no social media. It's coming, but just don't forget the name, Baby Genius.
Don't forget the name.
Forget the name.
In the making.
In the making, baby.